I cannot lie, I love hatches on a boat. Hi, this is Joe. Welcome to Motor City Boat Werks. If you're new to the channel, we want to welcome you, and if you're one of our returning subscribers, it's good to see you again in the shop. This week, we're going to be talking about boat hatches. I know, I just love them. First, a little marine terminology. The opening on a vertical surface in a boat hull is called a porthole. And on a horizontal surface, the deck, well, we call that a hatch. On the Albin 27, there's 5 smaller portholes in the aft cabin and 6 larger opening portholes in the forward cabin. Me, I just love hatches and portholes. I like a lot of light inside my boat. I like to be able to open my portholes to get fresh air inside the interior of the boat. And I just think sometimes it adds to the overall nautical feel.
So salty.
Hatches and portholes, if they're constructed properly and they close appropriately, they can only add benefits to the boat. There are some boats for extreme offshore use where you want fewer portholes and hatches. You want to reduce the number of openings that there are to the outside ocean. But for coastal and inland cruising, having more portholes and more hatches can only be a good thing. The portholes in the aft cabin and the forward cabin of the Albin 27, well, they come from Beckson Marine. They're Beckson portholes. They're still made today. The nice thing about them is that they can be opened and closed. You can tighten them down to prevent seawater from coming into the boat. Now, these portholes were very common in production boats during the 1980s, the 1990s, and in fact, they're still used today. They are made of plastic, but they're fairly robust. Replacement parts can be sourced from Beckson Marine. You can find them online. Now, these portholes are not to be mistaken with some Chinese and foreign import knockoffs that are available on Amazon. You will see portholes that look very similar to Beckson Marine portholes. They're just not the same thing. One of the things I wanted to do in the aft cabin to kind of open it up and make it a little more airy was add 2 hatches to the ceiling of the aft cabin. So I found 2 14 by 11 hatches that I plan to install in the ceiling of the aft cabin. It's going to make the aft cabin nice and airy, and because the hardtop extends over the aft cabin, well, I never have to worry about any water or anything leaking inside. These hatches come with trim rings that will hold in place a bug screen so that you never have to worry about insects getting inside your boat when you open them on a summer's night. Are you enjoying the show? Well, do me a favor. Would you hit the like button and also subscribe? Spread the word about Motor City Boat Werks. No BS, just boats and restoration. There's many hatch companies out there, but one of my personal favorites is Bomar Marine. Bomar hatches have been around for I don't know how long. On the Albin 27, the forward cabin has a large deck hatch, approximately 20 inches by 19 inches. And on my boat, that's a Bomar 900 series hatch. Now, the only problem with adding portholes or extra hatches to your boat is that they can be a little bit expensive. So you gotta be smart. One of the things I found is that if you do a careful search of Craigslist, you can find old marine hatches in reasonable condition that can be refurbished with a little bit of effort. Here's a great example. This is a Bomar low-profile extruded marine hatch. Extruded refers to this metal frame that goes around here. It's one solid piece and it's wrapped around the hatch. This is a really robust hatch. And back in the day, it was pretty expensive. Nowadays, you can buy replacement hatches, very similar to this, but in a newer model, and they will run you $400, $500 or more, depending on the size. It's not lightweight. It's actually put together pretty well. What I like about this hatch is the all-metal frame. And in particular, I like how it can be dogged down and the hatch squeezed tight, closing a gasket that's inside here. It makes it totally waterproof. Now, I want to remind you, I have no sponsors. I get no compensation for talking about any of the brands or items that I show on my YouTube channel. But you must have some sponsors. No, somebody must be sponsoring you. No sponsors at all. You don't have any sponsors? None. Are you sure you don't have any sponsors? No sponsors. Seems like you might have a sponsor. I am beholden to no man. I have had success purchasing these hatches on Craigslist for as little as $20 a piece. They might look like marine cast-offs, pieces of boatyard junk, but believe me, with a little bit of effort, you can have gold. I have some tips and tricks on how I restore these hatches, but we will be covering that in another episode down the road. One of the things I wanted to do in the forward cabin was add 2 hatches on the leading edge of the forward cabin. This way, you'll be able to stand in the forward cabin of the boat and have 360-degree view all the way around.
Oh yeah.
Now, this surface is not exactly horizontal, and this surface is not exactly vertical. But for my purposes, the things I'll be putting in there, well, I refer to them as hatches. It's going to be a great addition to the boat. Adding hatches to your boat, well, I think it's one of the things that just makes it a little bit more special. All right. Today in the shop, I'm going to be working on putting in some hatches on the forward cabin of the Albin 27 family cruiser. Basically, I want to put 2 hatches on the leading edge of the forward cabin. This is the part that slopes down from the front of the cabin down to the forward deck. The first step's going to be figuring out where am I going to put these things exactly. The front of the cabin is kind of cambered, so there's not really a flat space where I can get these. I need to figure out exactly the position of where the hatches should go. Should they go more towards the center or kind of spread out a little bit? Try and get a representation of how to position things before I actually start cutting. Once I've got the position of where the hatches are going to go, then I'll go ahead and mark that off and we'll begin trying to cut that out. And I'm going to be using one of my favorite tools, the chopper. I've talked about this tool before. The chopper is basically an oscillating tool. They come in all different brands, and I wasn't really a believer in this thing, back in the day, but over time, I've really come to love it. It gets into places that I just can't get into with a jigsaw. It beats the jigsaw hands down for a lot of cutting jobs. It works great. You just got to find the right blade that goes on it for your purpose. And I've found for cutting fiberglass, this titanium blade that I got from a big box store, it just has been holding up really well and makes a nice cut. I don't know if it's actually titanium, but that's what it says on it. All right, now you can see I've cut out the holes to the top of the cabin, and the hatches fit in there really well. The only problem is that the forward cabin top is cambered, so the hatches don't lay flush against the fiberglass. Now that's going to be a problem when it comes time to through bolt the hatch. There's not going to be anything supporting it on the side, so I've got to figure out a way to kind of solve the camber issue so that the hatch lays more flush against the cabin. You've got to get a good seal around there using marine sealant. There's got to be something for the hatch to rest on. At any one time, I have a variety of projects going in the boat shop. They're all kind of going simultaneous. If you spend time trying to do a project from start to finish, one project at a time, and then go on to the next project, well, it's not an efficient use of time. So you have to have multiple things kind of happening at the same time in various stages. Paint drying, fiberglass curing, things being assembled, things being manufactured or built, finishing being done. It's all kind of a lengthy process. So here, for example, I've got trim rings that have been painted. They're in kind of middle stage of being painted here. They're plastic trim rings for the forward portholes. And over here on the workbench, the assembly bench, I've got, these are the actual facings, the exterior cabinets that are gonna go in the forward V-berth to add more storage. These are the hatches that go with those trim rings over there, and some of the stainless steel handles that have yet to be put on the boat. So we're back another day. My solution to the camber issue is to go ahead and epoxy in place some small pieces of Coosa board. Now, I've talked about Coosa board before. It's a composite material. It's basically a polyurethane foam, a dense polyurethane foam that can be kind of epoxied in for a variety of projects, and it holds up real well. It's waterproof, bug-proof, and it's a great substitute for marine plywood. I'll use this to build up the area on the sides. This ridge will support the porthole when it goes on top of here because there's a slight camber to the deck, and it will allow us to get a good seal all the way around when we mount it. We've got a good fit with the hatches now. This has got to be primed, and then it's got to be painted. It's bare fiberglass surface, so make sure that the paint sticks well. It's taken several days to do this, and I think I've gotten to a good point here. The hatches now have a really good surface to kind of mate with on the forward cabin top, and the marine sealant will go in there, seal everything up. I've pre-drilled the holes for the through bolts, and that's all ready to go. At this point, everything's kind of done. The hatches look pretty good, I think. I'm gonna hold off actually mounting them right now because I'm waiting on some headliner material that will go inside the forward cabin, and I wanna make sure the headliner is in place before I actually start putting these hatches and the remaining portholes in, through bolting them into the hull. The headliner's gotta be in before I get that done. But here we go. This looks pretty good, and I'm very happy with how it came out. It's going to be an excellent addition to the forward cabin of the boat, and I'm really excited for it. Well, there you go. That's all I've got this week. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you again next time. Stay motivated. This week, I want to introduce something new. If I feature your question on an episode of Motor City Boat Werks, I will send you one of these. Motor City Boat Werks shop decal made from the tears of 1,000 unicorns. Free. If you have a question for me, please leave a comment below or contact me via the Motor City Boat Werks website. The email is listed on the description and my YouTube channel. Thank you, and have a great week.
If you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button. These videos would not be possible without your support.